Okay, let's talk about the year we're having. If I were an omnipotent evil mastermind who worshipped chaos, like if I were one of the game masters in the Hunger Games, this is the year I would build. First, I would start by creating political and social unrest for about 3 years so that people got really worn down. Then I would toss in a global pandemic so that people became poison, our support systems were eroded. Then I'd amp up the social unrest. And just when people got used to the new normal and were social distancing and getting together outside, I'd toss in some major fires in order to displace thousands of people and make the air unbreathable so that we can't visit with people outside anymore. And that's the year we're having right now. I've been thinking a lot lately about this idea from psychology called learned helplessness. In 1967, at the University of Pennsylvania, Martin Seligman put dogs in cages and closed the cages and administered electric shocks. He then opened the cages once the dogs had gotten accustomed to the fact that these shocks were coming, but the dogs didn't try to leave the cages. They just stayed put and took the shocks because they had grown so used to the idea that they couldn't escape hardship that they just didn't even try. And that's a great example of how we learn to feel helpless. For those of us who are tuned into politics and who value social justice, it is so easy to get bogged down by everything that's going on in the world right now. And as a social justice focused therapy center, we talk to our clients about this every single day. And so what I'm here to tell you today is that you are not helpless. You might feel helpless because you're overwhelmed and you're bogged down. And if you need a break, by all means, take a break. But this feeling of helplessness you have, that's something that you learned and you can unlearn it. The fix for this is to fill your cup and build a sense of hope. And you can do this through activism. You can do it through self-care, which is a radical and important act. You can do this by talking to loved ones. You can do this by talking to a therapist. And just think about that dog in Seligman's experiments. That dog could have gotten out of the cage if it had questioned its circumstances. And just remember, passionate, smart people are fighting the good fight right now. You might even be one of those passionate, smart people who's fighting the good fight. When we've learned to be helpless, we stay immobilized in shock. We shut down, and the oppressive forces and the people who propagate them win. It's okay to rest, and it's okay to take a break, but you do not need to break down because you are not helpless. I also want to remind you to register to vote if you haven't done that already, because it's the most basic step that you can take to empower yourself. And depending on what state you're in, the deadline to do that is coming up within the next 1 to 2 weeks. So if you haven't already registered to vote, please do so. And vote for change, because change is the only hope that we have that anything can be different. And you are powerful beyond your wildest dreams if you just allow yourself to break out of that cage. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing you soon.